So the first thing that I thought I'd do is I just sort of go through a little presentation on Google Sites and why I love Google Sites, and then we'll jump into creating a teacher web page, and then also creating a or showing a couple of examples of student projects too. So Google Sites, one of the things that I love it for is obviously web design and hosting. That's what it's made for. It's an app that you can use to create websites for absolutely anything you want. There's no limit on how many you can, so how many you create. So it's fantastic to use for a lot of different things, and we'll talk through some of the ways that people are using it. Just like all things Google, it's collaborative. So that means that you don't have to be alone within making your Google site. You can give editing or view rights to people. So it gives you sort of this walled garden, protective place that you can, that you can see the different edits that people have made, and that you can give different people different permissions to seeing and viewing it too. It's obviously highly integrated with all the other Google apps. You can insert and embed documents, you can embed calendars, you can embed maps, you can embed Picasa slideshows and Google Forms, and since it's all Google, it's just stuff that just all communicates and talks together, so it's fantastic. Another thing that I love about Google Sites is the fact that you can have entry-level people start using Google Sites. So I use Google Sites for ePortfolios for a lot of the students, and we start in 2nd grade because the students can get in there and they can just choose a theme. There are also templates that have been created for you and some of the Googlers, and then we can each create templates as well. And then there's also, you can, sky's the limit with customizing your layouts, colors, fonts, and logos. I always start with a blank slate now and just go in and customize the layout of my Google site. So really easy entry level, but sky's the limit with what you can do and how far you can go. There's a couple different ways that you can create the organization and navigation on your Google site. So most of my teachers, for their teacher web pages, they have their navigation links on the left-hand side. But if you want a little bit more, if you want to include a few more links on the front page, kind of getting the most bang for your buck with real estate of links, you can do horizontal navigation. So you can see here that underneath the drop down of presentations, you have a few options that you can do here. This is a way that I really like if I have a lot of links that I want on my front page, but I still want it to look sort of clean. I use the horizontal navigation. It's also a place that you can do storage, so you can create a file cabinet page in which you can, attach any kind of file. So whether it's a Smart Notebook file or a PDF or Word documents or any sorts of files, you can include those on the file cabinet page. In the More section, there's also a place for gadgets. So gadgets are sort of like smart boxes that you can add onto your website. So some of them have smart information that just sort of is brought to you. So for example, like the Merriam-Webster word of the day. So that's a gadget that each day that you go onto your website, a new word is there with its definition. And so it's bringing you the information each day. There are other types of gadgets that are more productivity. So for example, the iframe gadget actually allows you to put a website on a website. So it's kind of like the picture-on-picture TV screen. And so you can allow people to log into different websites from right on your website. You can bring the entire website into view using iframe on Google Gadgets. Use Google Sites. How does it save the day? First of all, each of us should have a web presence. So you should definitely have a web presence no matter what position you have. You should just be sort of sharing what you have out there with the world. And so within this Google Sites example, this is followmolly.com. I actually update my other work one a little bit more now, flipededucation.com. But you should have a web presence so that when somebody Googles you, that they find you, and they find not just, things that other people have posted, but things that you are putting out there to be productive within the web and sharing and creating content for the web. Also, Google Sites, and this goes, for the classroom teacher, for you as a person, for students, but it really gives you an audience. So, we used to have to, just turn in a piece of paper and it just was seen by the teacher and the student, and maybe if it got home in the backpack, then it would make it home. But for example, this is a service learning project that some students do in Edina schools, and what they do is they use this for, let me just pop in here and show this to you again. They use this for a service learning project that they do. And so they are involved with a company or an organization for the entire year. And then at the very end of the year, they create a website about their experience there. And so now you can see that there's articles and statistics and a biography of the agency and the participants. And the students have gotten so much publicity because of these, because they share them with the organization. The organization wants to link to them off of their website. We've had the city of Edina want to link to a few of these. So it's been a really cool way to give the students an audience in which the information that they are sharing is actually going out and it's making a difference on the web as well. So I'm using them for communication and collaboration. So at ePortfolio, we have a lot of people that are creating Google Sites as an ePortfolio with different grade levels or different work and reflecting on them. So lots of different examples of that. This is an example of a Google site that we use for student projects in which the students used to create a trifold brochure on a state research project. But instead of doing the trifold brochure, now what they do is they go in and they create a website for their state. And let me pop Caroline's up here for you. So instead of going in and creating a trifold brochure that you print out, now the students go in and they do the exact same kind of writing of information. Here's their bibliography, and here's her, her paragraphs, and she's got her images and things like that. They've also created an interactive map. So Caroline went in and decided what are the places in New York that she thinks that people should visit. So each of these are her own unique little place markers, and it's a fully interactive map. So if I click on the little place mark, you can see that Caroline said Adirondack Park is a great place for hiking and has a beautiful view of the mountains. So she's put in each of these little place markers onto the map, and that's a very relevant project. This is the kind of map that you're going to find if you go onto a lot of different websites, and so they're using the same technology that we're seeing out there on their websites as well.